I'll throw on ETH BTC real quick just to give a little primer on that. So we talk about ETH BTC a lot. It's in a 700-day range. Kind of looked like it went below the midpoint, kind of just like slowly trickling back up. Everyone has ETH as their high beta play. Just from an Ichimoku perspective, at least on daily, you do have an active edge to edge here. So, Tenkin above Kijun, Chiku span above price, and price is inside the cloud, and the target there is 0.07. So yeah, 0.07. So point being is like, that's probably the highest I see ETH BTC pushing up, and like what that, 2% move, is that going to translate higher for ETH on the way up if BTC does go higher, or is it just going to lead to ETH being more resilient on the way down if BTC breaks down and tries to go for that CME gap fill? That's kind of my little quick rough and ETH BTC take. But yeah, let's get back to ETH trip.
So again, market structure is king. I mean, it's pretty clear to me that we had the high, a low, a lower high, because this was a lower low. And then again, we didn't take these lows out, kind of how BTC did that similar, left this low. There was just one wick. But the thing about ETH for me is, yes, you broke kind of above a diagonal resistance and you basically retested it right here, which was this high. But you didn't take this high, which BTC did take that high, right? So the previous monthly mid is 1954. And that would be the next logical area for ETH to go if it were to move up. But again, like if you pull this fib on this high to the low, like there's a lot of confluence around why these are resistance levels, right? So we're below the weekly open right now, but we're above the daily. The interesting thing is like we're way above the quarterly open where BTC tapped the quarterly open, and that's probably an indication of ETH BTC as you talked about. But is like, again, this could be your range, right? Like here to here, and your draw on liquidity is what everyone has always wanted, the 1660, whatever it is.
Yep.
Maybe it comes down here. Again, it's too early to tell, but if you're, it wouldn't surprise me to see this move and then down, because you would have taken this high out. But if you start kind of trading back down below Monday's low, and this is like a fake out above this diagonal,
Yep.
quarterly open seems very reasonable. You lose that, you're definitely going to be going to the previous week low, and then like this liquidity seems right. I haven't looked at the ETH Hyblock. Let's take a look at that. It's running now. Yeah, I mean, BTC's 27.7. I mean, I think it's interesting to look at the Phemex premium and the Coinbase premiums relative to the perps too, which have been apparent. They were apparent going into the weekend. So if you start to see that dissipate, then it's probably more confirmation that it actually is going to go lower in my mind, because then spot is not leading, and it's probably going to show up in somewhat of the mark and perp price. But yeah, ETH, right? So, I mean, look, you squeezed a lot of shorts. Like, it was a good move. We had 3.8 billion in longs. We still have 2.6 billion in longs. I mean, green. Like,
yeah, it's a ton of green again, similar to you see.
1830, 1840. Well, this is a big one. This is kind of like a take this low into an SR flip. That's probably similar to the move where BTC does 27, kind of those low 27s.
Yep.
And again, it's not a blind long. I mean, I think you can pay attention to see how many market participants you remove on a delta basis. If this flips red, then yeah, probably you're going to bounce. But if you're, like, I'm not really interested in long anything until this is like building up shorts. Look, it can go higher, but that's just like not really the way I trade liquidity around key levels. Those CME gaps are pretty impactful too. So if BTC pulls back, then you're going to see liquidity taken to the downside on ETH as well, and that's going to give you those areas we talked about.
Yep, exactly. And just like a quick aside, I guess, when it comes to how we trade liquidity, the market is still very PvP, and you and I kind of talked about that earlier, that there is no new narrative of new influx of retail participants coming in. This is me versus Trip versus, all of CT versus, all everyone who's still left liquid in still participating. We're all here trading against each other. So like, Trip mentioned a lot of these altcoins, some are getting run, others are kind of just falling back. It's a clear rotation of the hot ball of money. And the key to remember is that, like, if you're not playing level to level, you're going to, in catching and releasing, which is like Trip's favorite quote, you're going to be giving back a lot of your profits. And the key to remember there is that, if you're in this summer range, volatility is low, liquidity is low, we're trading against each other, you need to be really aggressive with profit taking. So, you may not get the ideal entry. Like, for example, we talked about the Monday low sweep. Maybe you get that 26.9 CME gap fill, whatever, and you long that and you hold it and you get greedy. And then it gets to the Monday low. You're like, oh, great, it's at the Monday low. It's going to reclaim it. We're going from, monthly open or quarterly open, whatever it was, 29.2. That's where you start getting in this cycle of like trying to be too greedy with trades. And then immediately, as soon as you start like calculating your P&L at the Monday low, it's going to reject there. It's going to turn back around. You're going to be pretty salty with yourself for not having taken profit. So the whole point of this aside is, if you're trading this summer chop, which is what it really is, it's a crab market, be very greedy with your exits. Even if your entries aren't ideal, have a plan and at least stick to it, because otherwise round tripping is going to be inevitable.